Good evening, everybody. It's 1:22 a.m. in the morning in Tasmania. It's now Wednesday. I'm staying up until 2:05 a.m., which is sunset in Israel, so I haven't got long to go. I was just reading the book of Esther, and a couple of things jumped out at me. People were talking about rapture typology and things like that in the book of Esther. This may or may not have anything to do with the 7-year feast in heaven, the marriage feast of the Lamb, that sort of thing. But I'm just putting it out there for others to study. Now, if we look in verse 1 to 4, you can see that there was a full 180 days. Basically put on a big do for everybody in the area. King Xerxes, or however you pronounce his name, and it was to last for 180 days. After that 180 days, so the whole 180 days was concluded, there was then a feast which lasted for 7 days. A feast unto all the people that were found in Susa. And that was to last for 7 days. Now, it's interesting when you look through the Hebrew for all of this sort of stuff. There's a lot of typology in some of the words that are in that particular verse. A 7-day feast. And feast, drinking, a banquet, sounds a bit like the marriage supper of the Lamb. In the citadel, a castle or a place. Susa, residence of Persian kings. Won't we be kings with our Lord in heaven? That's just some interesting things that I came up with regarding Susa. I think I also have some photographs that I took as well. All this information is from Bible Hub. But it's very interesting. So there were some different names for Susa. It was Susa, or looks like Shushan, or Sushan, depending on the translation. But the fact that there was a 7-day feast at the end of the 180 days in the court of the garden of the king's palace. You can see it says there in the English Revised Version. Let me just have a quick look at photographs here, where I took some photographs. Okay. Oh, this is where I was talking about people speaking in tongues. That was the sunset in Israel. This was just some different translations for Susa. You can see they all said Susa there. I think one of these ones said Sushan or Shushan, as you can see under the New King James. American Standard has Shushan. It basically is all the same in Hebrew. If you have a look at the Hebrew. And when the days of the feast were expired, he invited all the people that were found in Susan, from the greatest to the least. It sounds very much like what we expect to happen at the rapture, from the greatest to the least. Commanded a feast to be made 7 days in the court of the garden, and of the wood which was planted by the care and the hand of the king. So it's definitely in the gardens, in the king's garden, in his own garden where he'd planted the trees and the plants himself. Anyway, a little bit of food for thought there. Let me know what you think. Like, share, comment as usual if you'd like to. I noticed I lost a few subscribers about the talking in tongues thing, but hey, I make no apologies for the Bible. There are strict rules on how you're meant to use it. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. There is a verse that says tongues will cease. Whether that's happened or not, I don't know. I don't really care. It's the least of all gifts. It says that in the Bible. But there are definitive rules for using tongues. I'm not telling people not to use tongues, just like I wouldn't tell people not to drive. But if you do drive, you should follow the road rules. Same with tongues. God bless everybody. Keep looking up. Jesus will be here very soon.